Good morning, everyone. I'm just so happy. Wow. Thank you, everyone that took part in the Time for All Ages. I really, truly appreciate it. You got a little look into the Rainbow Room and the kind of creativity that flows through it every single Sunday. My name is Kat. I have the privilege of serving as the Director of Children, Youth, and Families here at NUUC. That means I'm often the one teaching and facilitating our kids' learning in the Rainbow Room on Sunday mornings, but that's not a one-way process, and I'm also learning a lot from them too, as you can see. And today I wanted to share some of the lessons I've learned, not just from working in the Rainbow Room, but from my own journey, and the new connections I found within Unitarian Universalism. As Unitarian Universalists, we often talk about living our values. And I've discovered that some of life's greatest lessons on how to do that don't come from books, they don't come from workshops, and they don't come from the classrooms. They come from our children. They come from living through hardships, they come from living through heartbreak, they come from our community. And sometimes they come from finding your way home after being lost for a very long time. Here at Neighborhood, we work and we play and talk together, trying to put the UU principles into action and explore our own identities and beliefs. We try to create a safe spiritual home for all who need it, and I found home there too. The first lesson from the Rainbow Room that I want to share with you all has to do with our UUism's first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And to me, it's a beautiful principle. It's probably my favorite one. But how many of us have trouble believing that it applies to us too? Sometimes, right? That's a lesson that I'm still learning, even as a grown-up. And so today is Father's Day, which brings up a lot of complicated emotions for many of us, me included, because when I was a child, my father left me. And at the time, I didn't fully understand what was happening. I only understood the absence. I understood wondering why. I understood watching other families and noticing what was missing in mine. I understood carrying questions that didn't have any answers to them, or maybe they did and I just wasn't aware of them. For 20 years, my father and I lived separate lives. 20 years. That's enough time for a child to become an adult, and that's what happened to me. Enough time to graduate school. I did that 4 times. Enough time to fall in love. I did that. I got married. Enough time to build an entire life. And recently, after 2 decades apart, we reconnected. I wish I could tell you there was some perfect Hollywood ending. I wish I could tell you that all the hurt just vanished. But life is rarely that simple. And what I learned instead is that healing is not about erasing pain, but healing is about making room for complexity and honoring those really tough feelings. It's about holding grief and hope in the same hand. It's about recognizing that people are imperfect and that relationships can be messy. And this picture right here is actually a picture of us reconnecting for the second time, because I didn't want to take a picture the first time. I surprised him at his 60th birthday. I went to Montreal and with my wife, and we surprised him at dinner with over 100 people there. So this is him crying in my arms. It's a really beautiful picture and moment that I'll really cherish for a long time. So this is also about understanding that our stories are never truly finished. There's also always another chapter to our story. There's always the possibility of growth. Working with children has reminded me of this. When we're young, we have an incredible capacity to begin again. One difficult moment doesn't define them. One mistake doesn't define them. One hard day doesn't define them. Children constantly remind me that becoming is an ongoing process. And that's true for all of us, not just children. Long before I found my way to NUUC, another part of my identity was shaped on the ice. I was a competitive figure skater, and I spent years competing and traveling across North America. People often see the glitter, the glam, the costumes, everything that goes along with that. They see the medals, they see the performances. What they don't always see are the early mornings, the falls, the bruises, the moments when you're done and you just want to quit. Figure skating taught me discipline, but more importantly, it taught me perseverance. And when you skate, falling isn't a possibility, it's a certainty. You will fall again and again, every single time. The question isn't about whether you'll fall, though, in figure skating. The question is when you'll get back up. And that lesson has followed me throughout my entire life. I've fallen hard. I've failed. I've doubted myself. I've felt lost. I've questioned where I've belonged. But every time I've gotten back up. Not because I'm uniquely strong, but because I never got up alone. Someone always helped. A friend, a coach, a mentor, a community, just like this one. Which brings me to another lesson I've learned in the Rainbow Room. We're not meant to do life alone. I've been so grateful for the help and support I've received here at Neighborhood, even as someone brand new to this community. And when I got sick, when surgery and health complications kept me from being here numerous times, and when my life threw unexpected chaos at me over the past 6 months, there were people ready to step up and hold things together for me. And for that, I want to say thank you. I've been so blown away to see community in action here, and I'm so grateful to have found this place. One of the most beautiful things I witness every week is friendship. And I hope that we just built a couple new friends here today and learned some new facts about each other we maybe didn't know, or maybe we didn't know somebody that well that maybe we just bonded with for a couple new seconds. And it's just that easy, right? It's just a quick conversation, a quick fact sharing. It's not hard. And I really, really, really encourage the children and youth in the Rainbow Room to talk openly and honestly with each other about different things, but I also encourage everybody else to do the same thing. So children don't care about status or the way that grown-ups do. They don't care about a lot of what we seem to care about. They don't care about how much money someone has. They don't care whether someone, is a millionaire. They don't care if somebody has a master's degree, what have you, right? So they care about whether someone is kind, whether someone will play with them, whether someone sees them, whether someone includes them, whether someone will like what they like, has the same similar interests as them. Belonging begins with being seen, being heard, being understood. And in a world where so many people feel invisible, that lesson feels more important than ever. And this month is also Pride Month. Woo-woo. As many of you know, I am queer and non-binary. There was a time when I wasn't sure there would be a place for all of who I am, let's be honest. And a time when I wondered if I could and would have to choose between belonging and authenticity. A time when I feared being misunderstood. Just like many other 2S LGBTQIA+ folks, people know that feeling. We know what it's like to search for places where we can exhale for just a second and be our true selves. Places where we don't have to explain ourselves. Places where we don't have to shrink into a little tiny little box. Places where we can simply just be. Pride Month is often associated with celebration, and celebration is important. I will give you that. But pride is also about survival. It's about resilience. It's about community. It's about generations of people who fought so that others could live more freely. It's about refusing to disappear. And perhaps more importantly, pride is about belonging. Not belonging because you've earned it, not belonging because you've proven yourself, belonging because your existence is enough the way you are. Belonging because your worth is inherent, belonging because you are human. That is profoundly a UU message. And it is one I hope every child who walks through our doors comes to believe about themselves. Not someday, but today. We also recognize National Indigenous Peoples Day today. Woo-hoo! A day to celebrate the rich cultures, histories, traditions, and contributions of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people across this land, and we now call Canada. This day is an opportunity for celebration, but it's also an invitation to reflect, and reflect deeply. For many of us, reconciliation can feel like a large and complex concept. We may wonder where to begin. It's a long road. The truth is that reconciliation starts with something simple, a willingness to learn, to listen, and acknowledge the realities of our shared history. It means taking time to understand the impacts of colonization, residential schools, the 60s scoop, and the ongoing inequities that Indigenous peoples continue to face even today and probably will continue to face for a very long time. It means recognizing that these are not just chapters in history books, they're lived experiences that continue to affect individuals, families, and communities across generations. Learning can be uncomfortable at times. It may challenge what we thought we knew, but growth often begins with discomfort, and meaningful change begins with understanding. So today, I encourage each of us to take a moment to read, listen, or learn something new. Read an Indigenous author, listen to Indigenous voices, learn about the nation whose traditional territory you live on. Support Indigenous artists, businesses, and organizations. Engage with curiosity, humility, and most importantly, respect. National Indigenous Peoples Day is not only about looking back, it's also about looking forward toward a future built on truth, respect, justice, and meaningful relationships. As we recognize today, let us all commit ourselves to ongoing learning and action. Let us move beyond acknowledgement toward understanding, beyond understanding toward solidarity, and beyond solidarity toward meaningful change. May we honor the resilience, wisdom, cultures, and contributions of Indigenous peoples not just today, but every day. Because we live in a society that often celebrates independence, but Indigenous teachings often remind us of interdependence, that our lives are connected, that our well-being is connected, that our future is connected, that we have responsibilities to one another. Children understand this instinctively. They know that everyone deserves a place in the circle. And perhaps that's why working with young people continually inspires me. They remind me that inclusion is not complicated. They remind me that curiosity is stronger than fear. And they remind me that kindness is transformative. And they remind me that community is built one relationship at a time. Now, as I look back on my life, the child whose father left, the figure skater chasing impossible dreams at one point, the queer and non-binary person searching for belonging, the person reconnecting with family after 20 years, and now the director of children, youth, and family programs, I realize all of the experiences point towards the same truth. We are always becoming. We are never finished. Growth doesn't end when we become adults. Healing doesn't happen all at once. Belonging isn't a destination. It's a practice. And community isn't something we find, it's something we create together. And there are no shortage of lessons I've learned from the Rainbow Room, from pride, from Indigenous teachings, from friendship, and from my own life I've learned. Every person wants to know that they matter. Every person wants to know that they belong. Every person wants to know that they're worthy of love and connection. And every time we choose kindness, curiosity, inclusion, and compassion, we help create a world where that becomes possible. So may we continue building that world together. May we continue making room for one another. May we continue growing. May we continue learning. And may we never forget that each of us belongs within the great and beautiful circle of community.